In the Johnny Depp ACLU, American Civil Liberties Union case, it's being done in Supreme Court in the state of New York, in Manhattan, otherwise, as I know it, the city, being a New Yorker, or you might know it as New York, New York. The attorney for the case in New York is not Benjamin G. Chu. It is Jessica N. Myers. Now, both of these attorneys belong to Brown Rudnick LLP, but Benjamin Chu is an attorney in Virginia, and Miss Jessica Myers is an attorney in New York. Both work for the same firm, and both represent Johnny C. Depp II. Filed a notice of motion for pro hac vice. Now, if you're going to ask me what is a pro hac vice, it is a legal term for adding an attorney to a case in a jurisdiction in which he or she is not licensed to practice in such a way that the attorney does not commit unauthorized practice of law. So when they say jurisdiction, they basically mean that an attorney can't represent Johnny if they haven't passed the bar in that state. You see, here in America, for those who are not in America, you have to pass the bar exam to become an attorney of the state you want to practice in. There are 50 states in the United States of America. If you want to practice in Florida, you have to pass the bar there. If you want to practice in California, you have to pass the bar there. But that doesn't mean that you can be an attorney in any other state. You cannot practice unless you pass the bar in that state. But here, in this case, they ask for this motion, the pro hac vice, if I'm saying correctly, so that Benjamin Chu, who is representing Johnny in Virginia, can legally represent him here in New York. Why are they doing this? For the simple matter that since Benjamin's in the majority of the cases in Virginia, and he already has knowledge to the case in Virginia, it only makes sense for him to continue representing his client. The ACLU is located in New York, which makes it easier to do a judgment if it's passed for the judge to be carried out in New York. And it's all about jurisdiction, location. It made sense for Brown Rudnick LLP to say, Your Honor, we'd like to make a motion, and we'd like you to grant it, so that Benjamin Chu can represent his client, Johnny C. Depp, here. And the only reason we're doing this motion, it's not because we're suing them for financial means, it's because we're trying to get the records we need necessary for the case in Virginia that's going to happen in 2022. Now, we're going to read a little bit of the motion. And the motion basically states that they're asking for a return date in New York on June 22nd, which is next week. Now, of course, the judge could adjourn this. If that date is not good for the judge, they would do what's called an adjournment, and they would push it to a further date. I also don't see why the judge wouldn't permit Benjamin G. Chu of the law firm of Brown Rudnick LLP to do this. It wouldn't make any sense to me. Now, an affirmation of support is basically the story. You know, why now? Okay, you want him to be here. So they basically say that Jessica N. Myers, who's filing this, she's a member of the bar, of the state of New York, and that Mr. Chu is a member of the firm, same firm that she's working in, but his office is in Washington, D.C., hers is in New York, New York, and that they're both in very good standing, both Jessica Myers and Benjamin Chu. They also go to show the passing of the bar, his certificate from Virginia and D.C. in Exhibits A and B. And here's what they're asking, and this is called a proposed order. Now, if you see this, just because there's an order here, it's proposed. That means this is what they're asking for. Not that the judge signed this, because the judge didn't sign this yet. This is what they're asking the judge to sign. The judge can make changes, the judge can deny this altogether, or the judge can accept it altogether. It's totally up to the judge. I can't see why the judge will not accept it. They may tweak it, but I could totally see them accepting this order. I can't see a reason why they won't do it. It just makes sense altogether, since Benjamin Chew is, and the case is mostly in Virginia, and Benjamin has all the knowledge of this case. Why would they take someone else from the firm who may not be so familiar with this case to do it? It just wouldn't make any sense. So here's what they're asking: that the motion is granted and Benjamin Chew is permitted to appear and participate in this action on behalf of the petitioner, Johnny C. Depp II. That Mr. Chew at all times be associated herein with counsel, who is a member of good standing in the bar of the state of New York, and an attorney for the record for Johnny C. Depp II, and all pleadings, briefs, and other papers filed with the court shall be signed by the attorney of record, who should be held responsible for such papers. Basically, all they're asking for is, Judge, it only makes sense for you to grant this order, to grant this motion, and sign this order, and allow Benjamin to represent Johnny. We both work for the firm. Well, I work in New York. He works in Washington, but he's covering this case. And the majority of all this has been happening is in Virginia. We only came here because of jurisdictional purposes. It's because where the ACLU is located. Now, as a plaintiff in the case, you can sue in 3 places. You can sue where you live, you can sue where the defendant lives, or you can sue where the action took place. So the ACLU is separate. Now, he went to Virginia because of defamation laws and because you could sue there for defamation laws, but here, and is an advantage as compared to all the other states, which you probably can't do it, or you wouldn't have such an advantage. Also, it was Washington Post. Location. And the ACLU is in New York. So, let's go to New York. And our firm is also in New York, as well as Washington. Good for you, Johnny. We're lucky in that perspective. It'd be nice if Amber, for once, just didn't oppose this. And maybe all these sanctions, Amber will think twice about opposing this motion. So that's it for today, just to let you know what's going on. Hopefully Benjamin G. Chew will be representing Johnny with the ACLU in this case. Do let me know what you think about all this. Just a little bit of news to share with you. And any more filings, we will go over on this channel with the ACLU and Johnny Depp. And as for what has happened already, we will do a live stream on that. We will catch up and stay on top of Johnny Depp versus the ACLU right here, my good old hometown of New York, New York. Also, check my Twitter, because I will post with photos, not a link. No, not a link. I will post with the photos of what's being filed on Twitter, so you know, and you can see it for yourself as it happens. If anything is filed and I'm in the work, I'll let you know as soon as possible, and I will do a video that night. It's been Rob's Rules. I'm here, you there. You keep ruling, my rulers. Thank you for your support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Check out my description for all cool stuff, like checking me out on Twitter or talking in my DM there. Join the Discord, have some fun with the community and myself. Check out my store. Check out Tammy's Tips and Tricks, especially if you're into theme parks or maybe you plan on going. She could save you a lot of frustration, a lot of money. And with that being said, I'll see you next time. Be well, be safe.